Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Today is the disappearance day of Namacharya Haridas Thakur, one of the confidential associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Antya Leela, the 11th chapter, it is described the passing of Haridas Thakur. It is described very beautifully by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So I will read some portions from that. First we'll chant this invocation verse. This verse is in Sanskrit. Rest of the verses are in Bengali. Namami. This is the first verse of the 11th chapter of the Antya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Haridasam tam namami haridasam tam chaitanyam tam cha tat prabhum chaitanyam tam cha tat prabhum samsthitam api yan murtim samsthitam api yan murtim swankye kritva nanartayaha swankye kritva nanartayaha namami haridasam tam chaitanyam tam cha tat prabhum samsthitam apiyan murtim swankye kritva nanartayaha. Namami haridasam tam chaitanyam tam cha tat prabhum samsthitam apiyan murtim swankye kritva nanartayaha. Namami haridasam tam chaitanyam tam cha tat prabhum samsthitam apiyan murtim swankye kritva nanartayaha. Namami haridasam tam chaitanyam tam cha tat prabhum samsthitam apiyan murtim swankye kritva nanartayaha. Namami. I offer my respectful obeisances Haridasam unto Haridas Thakur, tam him, Chaitanyam unto Lord Chaitanya, tam him, cha also, tat prabhum his master, samsthitam dead, api certainly, yet whose murtim bodily form, swankye on his lap, kritva keeping, nanarta danced, yaha he who. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Haridas Thakur and his master Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who danced with the body of Haridas Thakur on his lap. Please repeat this translation after me. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Haridas Thakur and his master, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who danced with the body of Haridas Thakur on his lap. So this is the opening verse, and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami begins this chapter describing the passing away of Haridas Thakur in the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And a very beautiful description is here. So the opening verse, he's offering his respects to Haridas Thakur and Haridas Thakur's master, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what is he telling here? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced with the body of Haridas Thakur on his lap. Swa anke krutva nanartayaha. And body means samsthitam yanmurtim. It was a dead body. After he passed away, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took that dead body. Nobody touches a dead body. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this body is completely spiritual because fully dedicated for chanting and preaching the glories of chanting whole life. So this body is completely spiritual, and that's what is described in this later portion. One day, Govinda, the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, went in great jubilation to deliver the remnants of Lord Jagannath's food to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was not staying in the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed with all his associates near the Jagannath temple. Because Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, he was considered a outcast. So the etiquette was that such people were not allowed inside the Jagannath temple. Even today, our devotees of ISKCON, Prabhupada's disciples and Prabhupada's followers, if they are from foreign country, they are not allowed inside the Jagannath temple. That's been the tradition, and Haridas Thakur would not go inside the temple. Would not go inside the temple. So, Haridas Thakur used to stay away from the temple, and he would have darshan of Jagannath by seeing the chakra on top of the Jagannath temple's spire. And also the flag. Every day a new flag is hoisted on the top of that tower, on Jagannath temple's tower. And he would just have darshan of Jagannath by seeing the chakra and the flag. And he would pay obeisances from wherever he was staying, a little distance. Those of you who have been to Jagannath Puri, he used to stay in a place called, what's it called? Siddha Bakula. Siddha Bakula. And his samadhi is also there, just nearby on the beach. The Siddha Bakula is a little away from the beach, but his samadhi is on the beach. So, he was staying in that Siddha Bakula, little away from the Jagannath temple, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered his personal servant Govinda, every day you must take Jagannath's prasadam to Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur was sitting there and just chanting his 3 lakh names, 192 rounds, 24 hours, 22 hours. He had no time for anything else. So, what is the arrangement? Krishna arranges for everyone food. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arranged that his servant Govinda, he would take remnants of Jagannath Mahaprasadam from the Jagannath temple to Haridas Thakur. So that's being described here. Every day he used to go So this is description of a particular incident regarding the passing away of Haridas Thakur. So one day Govinda went to deliver as usual. When Govinda came to Haridas, he saw that Haridas Thakur was lying on his back and chanting his rounds very slowly. If he has to finish 192 rounds in 22 hours, he has to chant fast. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But on that particular day, Govinda noticed, first of all, he is not sitting and chanting. He is lying on his back and he is chanting very slowly. So Govinda said to Haridas Thakur, please rise and take your Mahaprasadam. Haridas Thakur replied, today I shall observe fasting. Then Haridas Thakur continued to speak. He said, I have not finished chanting my regular number of rounds. How then can I eat? But you have brought Mahaprasadam, and how can I neglect it? Saying this, he offered prayers to Mahaprasadam and took a little portion and ate it. The next day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Haridas' place and inquired from him, Haridas, are you well? Because Govinda would have gone and reported. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not feeling well. He didn't take prasadam properly. He took a little. And he was lying on the back and was chanting very slowly. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came immediately the next day and inquired from him, are you well? Haridas offered his obeisance to the Lord and replied, my body is all right. Actually, the body is sick. But he's telling, my body is all right, but my mind and intelligence are not well. Why did he say this? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further inquired from Haridas, can you ascertain what your disease is? Haridas Thakur replied, my disease is that I cannot complete my rounds. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again replied back to Haridas Thakur, now that you have become old, the Lord said, you may reduce the number of rounds you chant daily. You are already liberated and therefore you need not follow the regulative principles very strictly. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, all the regulative principles are meant for conditioned souls. It's not meant for liberated souls. Which is the verse in the Bhagavad Gita which says there are no duties for liberated souls? No, that is for Lord. Yastu Atmaratir, 3rd chapter, 17th verse. Yastu Atmaratireva syat Atmatriptascha manavaha Atmanyeva cha santushta tasya karyam na vidyate. A person who takes pleasure in the self, who's completely satisfied in the self, who has, like this, Krishna describes, tasya karyam na vidyate. He is actually a liberated soul. For him, there are no prescribed duties, there are no regulative principles. Because he is always engaged in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada gives an example while giving a class on that verse, 3.17, Prabhupada says, Haridas Thakur is an example of this. Exactly what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says here. You are already liberated, therefore you need not follow regulative principles. Exactly what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Same thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Haridas Thakur. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further says something very important. Your role in this incarnation is to deliver the people in general. You have sufficiently preached the glories of the holy name in this world. The Lord concluded, now therefore please reduce the fixed number of rounds you chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking Haridas Thakur to do. Haridas Thakur replied, kindly hear my real plea. What is the real thing he wants to say? He is telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I was born in an inferior family. and my body is most abominable. I always engage in low work. Therefore, I am the lowest, most condemned of men. I am unseeable and untouchable, asdrishya, asprishya. But you have accepted me as your servant. This means that you have delivered me from a hellish condition and raised me to the Vaikuntha platform. When Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touches someone, even if they are, of course, Haridas Thakur is not impure, he is not low-born, he is a liberated soul. So there is no question of his birth being inferior or superior. But still, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has touched him, he is telling, you have elevated me to the Vaikuntha platform. Anybody comes in contact with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, becomes completely purified and elevated to the spiritual platform. Then further he says, my dear Lord, you are the fully independent personality of Godhead. You act by your own free will. You cause the whole world to dance and act as you like. My dear Lord, by your mercy, you have made me dance in many ways. For example, I was offered the Shraddha Patra, which should have been offered to first-class Brahmanas. This was done by Advaita Acharya. Haridas Thakur used to stay with Advaita Acharya when he used to visit Shantipur. And Advaita Acharya would treat him as a first-class devotee, pure devotee. Advaita Acharya was a very high-class Brahmana by birth itself and by his activities. So, Haridas Thakur was treated by Advaita Acharya as a first-class pure devotee who is much greater than the qualified Brahmana. And therefore, once when Haridas Thakur went to visit Advaita Acharya, it happened to be Advaita Acharya's father Shraddha. So he performed the Shraddha, and in the Shraddha, he has to offer the first Shraddha Patra, the food that is actually remnants of what is offered to the Lord, has to be offered to a first-class Brahmana, to a qualified Brahmana. So, he offered to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur said, my dear Advaita Acharya, how can you do this? Others will criticize you. You are giving to a Yavana, because he was born in a Muslim family. Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family. He considered himself a Yavana. According to Vedic culture, meat eaters are called Yavana, and those who are asamskrita, those who don't have any samskaras being performed, they are called mlecha. Mlecha, Yavana. These are two terms in the scriptures. Is they described in the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam when Narad Muni Yudhishthira. So, he considered, actually he never ate meat, but he was born in a meat eater's family. So he considered himself as Yavana, meat eater. And he's telling, you're giving me the Shraddha Patra, which you should be giving to a Brahmana. I'm not a Brahmana. People will criticize you. So Prabhupada describes elsewhere in the Bhagavatam and purport that Advaita Acharya clarified, no, I am not doing any mistake. The Shastras declare a pure devotee is much greater than the topmost of Brahmanas. The topmost of Brahmanas, greater than topmost of Brahmanas, a pure devotee. You are much, much greater than even the first-class Brahmana. So therefore, I am not making a mistake. I am following the Shastra. I am not violating the Shastric principles. Like that, Advaita Acharya justified feeding the Shraddha Patra to, giving the Shraddha Patra to Haridas Thakur. So he is describing that you have blessed me that I was offered the first class, what is offered to be, supposed to be offered to the first class Brahmana, the Shraddha Patra, you have made Advaita Acharya offer to me. I ate from it even though I was born in a family of meat eaters. This is exactly what he is meaning. He was born in a family of meat eaters, Yavana family. Now he is telling further to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I have had one desire for a very long time. What is the desire? I think that quite soon, my Lord, you will bring to a close your pastimes within this material world. He is telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are now going to quit this world. I wish that you not show me this closing chapter of your pastimes. What happened to Arjuna when he learned that Krishna went back to his personal abode? Krishna swadhamopagate. Arjuna became heartbroken. He was completely devastated. And that's described in the first canto of the Bhagavatam. Similarly, Haridas Thakur is thinking that I cannot tolerate or bear to hear or see the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's telling, my dear Lord, I cannot wish to see that. Before the time comes, kindly let my body fall down in your presence. I wish to catch your lotus-like feet upon my heart and see your moon-like face. With my tongue I shall chant your holy name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. That is my desire. Kindly let me give up my body in this way. He is making a request to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is further telling, O most merciful Lord, if by your mercy it is possible, kindly grant my desire. One last desire he is asking. Let this low-born body fall down before you. You can make possible this perfection of all my desires. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Haridasa, Krishna is so merciful that he must execute whatever you want. Why? Because Krishna is very attached to his devotees, pure devotees. Whatever the pure devotees desire, Krishna will fulfill that. Krishna fulfills everyone's desires. But pure devotees' desire, Krishna will definitely fulfill without putting any condition. How does he satisfy the living entities' desires who are conditioned souls? He makes them work for it and gain that punya. Gain that punya. So, those desires pertain to material desires. Somebody has material desire, Krishna only can fulfill anybody's desires, material or spiritual. Nobody else can fulfill. So, Krishna fulfills material desires of the living entities. And who are those living entities? Those in the material world who are conditioned souls. By making them work for it. Because material world, the law is, you can get what you want only by working according to the scriptural injunctions, according to the laws of karma. Punya karma. By punya karma, your desires can be, material desires can be satisfied. What about spiritual desires? How does Krishna fulfill? Because, like for example, all of us, till we become fully purified, we are not free from material desires. So those material desires, anyway, Krishna has got his way of fulfilling it. But spiritual desires, what does Krishna do? Now we have spiritual desires also, no, having become devotees. So Krishna fulfills spiritual desires by bringing a devotee or a person who has spiritual desires in contact with pure devotees or contact with himself. That's what he does. And in the association of either a pure devotee or Krishna himself, any aspiring devotee becomes purified, and thereby Krishna fulfills the devotee's desire spiritual desires without any condition. We may not be pure, but we may have spiritual desires. So those spiritual desires cannot be fulfilled till we are pure. But what does Krishna do? He brings us in touch with himself or his pure devotee. Now all of us, every day we come in contact with Krishna because we are aspiring devotees. Krishna arranges. How? When we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna appears on our tongue as the holy name. The Nama, Krishna Nama appears on our tongue. And in that way we come in touch with Krishna. And if you come in touch with Krishna, you are instantly purified. And once you are purified, all your desires, material, spiritual, everything is fulfilled by Krishna. Please understand this mercy of Krishna. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here says, my dear Haridas, Krishna is so merciful that he must execute whatever you want, because Haridas Thakur is a pure devotee. But whatever happiness is mine is all due to your association. It is not fitting for you to go away and leave me behind. Krishna will fulfill your desire. But why do you want to leave me behind? Alone, without your association. Catching the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur said, my Lord, do not create an illusion. Although I am so fallen, you must certainly show me this mercy. Further he says to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my Lord, there are many respectable personalities, millions of devotees who are fit to sit on my head. They are all helpful in your pastimes. My Lord, if an insignificant insect dies, what is the loss? Sorry, I am not read properly. My Lord, if an insignificant insect like me dies, what is the loss? If an ant dies, where is the loss to the material world? My Lord, you are always affectionate to your devotees. I am just an imitation devotee. But nevertheless, I wish that you fulfill my desire. That is my expectation. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to perform his noon duties, he got up and went away. He did not say anything further. But it was settled that the following day, after he saw Lord Jagannath, he would return to visit Haridas Thakur. That means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has decided he is going to fulfill Haridas Thakur's desire the next day. After embracing him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left to perform his noon duties and went to the sea to take his bath. The next morning, after visiting Jagannath temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, accompanied by all his devotees, went hastily to see Haridas Thakur. Generally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go every day to visit Haridas Thakur after having Jagannath Darshan, before his noon duties. But this particular day, he took all his devotees with him to visit Haridas Thakur. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees came before Haridas Thakur, who offered his respects to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the Vaishnavas. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired, my dear Haridas, what is the news? Haridas Thakur replied, my Lord, whatever mercy you can bestow upon me, please do so. Then what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? Upon hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately began great congregational chanting in the courtyard where Haridas Thakur was staying. Vakreshwara Pandit was the chief dancer, headed by Swarup Damodar Goswami. All the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu surrounded Haridas Thakur and began congregational chanting, Sankirtana. In front of all the great devotees like Ramananda Raya and Saram Bhattacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to describe the holy attributes of Haridas Thakur. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to glorify Haridas Thakur. As he described the transcendental attributes of Haridas Thakur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu seemed to possess 5 mouths. That means so much he was describing, going on describing glories of Haridas Thakur. The more he described, the more his great happiness increased. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dealing with full satisfaction and great pleasure. This is described in Bhagavad Gita. Machitta, madgata prana, bodhayanta parasparam, kathayantascha mam nityam, tushyanti cha ramanti cha. My devotees, they take great pleasure in discussing about me. Discussing about Krishna means Krishna is never alone. Krishna is always with his devotees, pure devotees. So discussing about Krishna means discussing about Krishna and his pure devotees. So even discussing about pure devotees, one derives great pleasure and great satisfaction. So that is what is described here by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while describing Haridas Thakur's wonderful qualities, his happiness increased more and more and more and more. After hearing of the transcendental qualities of Haridas Thakur, all the devotees present were struck with wonder. Struck with wonder. They all offered their respectful obeisances to the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur made Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sit down in front of him. Then he fixed his eyes like two bumblebees on the lotus face of the Lord. He held the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on his heart and then took the dust of the feet of all the devotees present and put it on his head. He began to chant the holy name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya again and again. As he drank the sweetness of the face of the Lord, tears constantly glided down from his eyes. While chanting the holy name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, he gave up the air of his life and left his body. Seeing the wonderful death of Haridas Thakur by his own will, which was just like a great mystic yogis, everyone remembered the passing away of Bhishma. Bhishma passed away in the presence of Lord Krishna, as he desired. Krishna mercifully was present before Bhishma. Similarly, as Haridas Thakur desired, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was present before Haridas Thakur when Haridas Thakur left his body. And such great devotees, they leave the body according to their own will. They leave their body according to their own will. Because they are not, pure devotees are not under the laws of karma. All conditioned souls, according to the law of karma, they have to quit their body when their lifespan is over. Whereas liberated souls, there is no question of lifespan for them. Because they don't have a material body. And their body is spiritual, means it is eternal. There is no death for spiritual body. But even then, when they have entered a material body, that material body cannot remain forever. So they quit that body according to their own will. So Haridas Thakur wanted to leave his body in the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And exactly he did that. There was a tumultuous noise as all chanted the holy names Hari and Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became overwhelmed with ecstatic love. The Lord then raised the body of Haridas Thakur and placed it on his lap. Then he began to dance in the courtyard in great ecstatic love. How is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu handling this body of Haridas Thakur? Dead body, what will people do? Immediately either cremate it, burn it, or bury it. Return it to material nature. Finished, over, this body is over. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not do that. What did he do? He took that body with great respect, placed it on his lap, and began to dance in congregational chanting in ecstatic love. Because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love, all the devotees were helpless, and in ecstatic love, they also began to dance and chant congregationally, big kirtan, with chanting and dancing by all the devotees with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced for some time, and then Swarup Damodar Goswami informed him of other rituals for the body of Thakur Haridas. The rituals had to be performed. He is passed away. So the body of Haridas Thakur was then raised onto a carrier that resembled an airship. All the devotees took his body on their
shoulders, and then taken to the sea, accompanied by congregational chanting. The sea was nearby from where he was staying. Even now that place is there. It's near the sea. They carried that body. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced in front of the procession, and Vakreshwara Pandit along with other devotees chanted and danced behind him. Now why Vakreshwara Pandit is mentioned? Because he was the most expert dancer in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan party. He could dance for 72 hours continuously. 72 hours is 3 full days. That was Vakreshwar Pandit's transcendental energy with which he used to dance in Sankirtan. So therefore it's particularly mentioned Vakreshwar Pandit was ecstatically dancing in that Sankirtan, as much as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was ecstatically dancing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed the body of Haridas Thakur in the sea and declared, "From this day on, this sea has become a great pilgrimage site." Even now we can go to that spot where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed the body of Haridas Thakur. You take bath in that place, in the ocean, in that Bay of Bengal, on the beach of Puri, near Haridas Thakur's Bhajan Kutir. That is like bathing in a sacred water. It's like bathing in Ganga. Everyone drank that water that had touched the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur, and then they smeared remnants of Lord Jagannath's sandalwood pulp on the body of Haridas Thakur. All the devotees did this. After a hole was dug in the sand near that place, now the samadhi is there, that place, all the devotees prepared one. They're preparing the samadhi. The body of Haridas Thakur was placed in it. Remnants from Lord Jagannath, such as his silken ropes, sandalwood pulp, food, and cloth, were placed on the body. All around the body, devotees performed congregational chanting, and Vakreshwara Pandit danced in jubilation. With his transcendental hands, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally covered the body of Haridas Thakur with sand, chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol. That means his body was buried there in a particular place. And later on, this is how the body of a great devotee is not burnt, it is buried. And a tomb is erected on that place. The devotees covered the body of Haridas Thakur with sand and then constructed a platform upon the site. The platform was protected all around by fencing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and chanted all around the platform, and as the holy name of Hari rolled tumultuously, the whole universe became filled with the vibration. After Sankirtana, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed in the sea with his devotees, swimming and playing in the water in great jubilation. After circumambulating the tomb of Haridas Thakur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Simhadwara gate of Jagannath temple. The whole city chanted in congregation, and the tumultuous sound vibrated all over the city. Approaching the Simhadwara gate, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread his cloth and began to beg prasadam from all the shopkeepers there. "I am begging prasadam for a festival honoring the passing away of Haridas Thakur." The Lord said to the shopkeepers, "Please give me some alms. Give me bhiksha." Sannyasi asked bhiksha. Sannyasi asked for little bhiksha. But now he is telling, all of you give me bhiksha so that we can celebrate the passing away of Haridas Thakur. Hearing this, all the shopkeepers immediately came forward with big baskets of prasadam, which they jubilantly delivered to Lord Chaitanya. However, Swarup Damodar stopped them. Whatever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does in his ecstasy, it's like uncontrolled. There is no regulation. But Swarup Damodar is the personal secretary to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He regulates everything. What did he do? He said, wait. He stopped the shopkeepers from delivering that big basket of prasadam. They all sat down there with the baskets. What should we do? He's asking and you're telling, wait. What should we do? Swarup Damodar said to the shopkeepers, "Deliver to me 4 palmfuls of prasadam from each and every item you have. They are bringing one big basket of some one item. So no. You bring just little bit of each item you have, because they sell so many items. If you have been to Jagannath Puri, you would have seen. They sell so many items. So in this way, varieties of prasadam were collected, then packed up in different loads and carried on the heads of 4 servants. Swarup Damodar, expert in organizing everything very nicely. Not only did Swarup Damodar Goswami bring prasadam, but Vaninath Pattanayaka and Kashi Mishra, they are the in charge of the Jagannath temple, these 2 devotees. They sent also large quantities from Jagannath's prasadam. Jagannath is offered huge quantities of prasadam. So from that they sent prasadam, large quantities, for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to observe this festival of passing away of Haridas Thakur. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made all the devotees sit in rows and personally began to distribute the prasadam, assisted by 4 other men. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not accustomed to taking prasadam in small quantities. Therefore, he put on each plate what at least 5 men could eat. Swarup Damodar requested Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please sit down and watch these men to help me. With these men to help me, I shall distribute the prasadam. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat down. The 4 men, Swarup Damodar, Jagadananda, Kashishwara and Shankara, distributed the prasadam continuously to all the seated devotees. All the devotees sat down, would not eat the prasadam as long as the Lord had not eaten. They said, no, we won't eat till Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken prasadam. On that day, however, Kashi Mishra had extended an invitation to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, Kashi Mishra personally went there and delivered prasad to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great attention and made him eat. Because only unless Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eats, others will not eat, though they have been served prasadam. With Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat down and accepted the prasadam that Kashi Mishra offered him. When he began to eat, all the Vaishnavas also began to eat prasadam. Everyone was filled to the neck, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept telling the distributors, give them more, give them more. He is celebrating the passing away of Haridas Thakur. That's the ecstasy he is in. After all the devotees finished accepting prasad and had washed their hands and mouths, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decorated each of them with a flower garland and sandalwood pulp. Overwhelmed with ecstatic love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered a benediction to all the devotees, which all the devotees heard with great satisfaction. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, anyone who has seen this festival of Sri Haridas Thakur's passing away, anyone who has chanted and danced here, anyone who has offered sand on the body of Haridas Thakur, anyone who has joined this festival to partake of the prasadam, all of them will achieve the favor of Krishna very soon. There is such wonderful power in seeing Haridas Thakur in any way. Being merciful upon me, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is declaring to everyone, Krishna gave me the association of Haridas Thakur. See how merciful Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. He is considering himself as a devotee of Krishna. That's how he is speaking now. Krishna gave me the association of Haridas Thakur out of his causeless mercy. Being independent in his desires, he has now broken that association. I have lost. Now Haridas Thakur has passed away. I lost that association. When Haridas Thakur wanted to leave this material world, it was not within my power to detain him. I wanted him to stay with me, but I could not detain him. Simply by his will, Haridas Thakur could give up his life and go away, exactly like Bhishma Deva, who previously died simply by his own desire, as we have heard from Shastra. In the Bhagavatam, this is described. The passing away of Bhishma Deva, in the first canto, in presence of Lord Krishna. Even Srila Prabhupada, he passed away in the presence of Krishna, in the form of the holy name. Because before Prabhupada passed away, he arranged that devotees continuously perform Sankirtan in the room where he was lying down. So devotees were continuously performing Sankirtan. And Prabhupada passed away one particular day, November 14, 1977, in the evening at about 7:30 p.m. when devotees were performing Sankirtan. So Prabhupada also passed away in the presence of Krishna, in the form of his holy name. We all can leave our body in the presence of Krishna, because of which we'll straight go back to Krishna Loka if we practice chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Particularly when death comes, we cannot do any normal activity. Right? We'll stop everything. But if you have practiced chanting Hare Krishna when the tongue is not having any other activity, you practice this. Whenever your tongue is free, simply keep vibrating the tongue and say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Apart from chanting your regular rounds properly, 16 rounds or whatever you're chanting, 8 rounds or 4 rounds, whatever. But other times, there is no rule, there's no need for counting, there's no need for all those things you hear. You should chant like this, you should not. Forget all that. When you're doing some work, your attention will be on the work. Correct? But let your tongue keep vibrating Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So whenever death comes, let it come. If I practice chanting Hare Krishna when the tongue is free, whenever death comes, you will chant Hare Krishna. By practice. How? By practice. Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita. Read carefully the 8th chapter. What does he say? One who remembers me at the time of death certainly will come back to me. That's the first thing he says. And then he also says, whatever you remember at the time of death, that state you will attain without fail. And then he says, therefore, always practice remembering me. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. You remember me, at the same time you do your duties. In this way, what will happen? Whenever you die, you will come back to me. Because you have practiced remembering me. Now Prabhupada says in the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, how do we remember Krishna in this age? By chanting Hare Krishna. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us. You remember Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. So Krishna says, remember me always, even when you are doing your other duties. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, even when you are doing other duties, you keep chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. In this way, you are constantly in touch with Krishna. Constantly you are able to remember Krishna. Constantly you are actually Krishna conscious, always. Therefore, next Krishna says, Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa na anyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati. If you do what I am saying, you practice remembering me always, even when you are doing your other duties. Practice remembering me. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, practice chanting Hare Krishna always when your tongue is free. Your tongue is free, always practice chanting Hare Krishna. Whenever death comes, you are Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati. You will attain Krishna. You will straight go back to Krishna in his spiritual abode. Exactly what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna says, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also teaching us. Simply chant Kirtaniya Sadahari. That's all. Don't worry about all those rules, regulations, everything. If you practice chanting Hare Krishna even while you're doing other activities. So all those rules for chanting apply when you're chanting your regular vrata. You should make a vow. I'll chant a fixed number of times. That time I'll fix my mind on the holy name. I'll count properly. I'll stop all other work. That is for some time. But rest of the days, rest of the time you are engaged in so many activities. Correct? That time also, tongue can be engaged in chanting. Of course, when you're not speaking, when you're not eating, tongue is got two activities, speaking and eating. So when you're not doing some other speaking or some other, of course you should eat only prasadam.
So prasadam eating, no problem. You're engaging in contacting Krishna. You're engaging in Krishna consciousness. But when you're speaking something else other than Krishna's holy name or pastimes or something like that time, if you're chanting Hare Krishna, you're guaranteed, whenever death comes, you practice this, whenever death comes, you can straight go back to Godhead. Guaranteed to go back to Godhead. Krishna assures that in the Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter. So everyone began to chant. All glories to Haridas Thakur, who revealed the importance of chanting the holy name of the Lord. That's why he was given that title by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namacharya Haridas Thakur. Means Acharya. Acharya means the one who's ideal teacher of how to chant Hare Krishna. How to chant Hare Krishna. So I'll stop here. Haridas Thakur ki jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.